Okay, welcome everyone. We'll start our second lesson, which will cover LO2, Learning Outcome 2, Unit 2, Tourism Policy and Planning we're doing. And its course, of course, is the OTHM Level 6 Diploma in Tourism and Hospitality Management. And my name is Anjum Satar, and my email address anjum@ukversity.co.uk. If you have any question, please just drop me email on this email address. And today lesson will go through LO2. Before starting our today lesson, we'll recap what we learned during our first lesson. So during our first lesson, we discussed about LO1, be able to critically analyze the concept and the theories of public policies. And different approaches, we discuss historical development in the policies, and we'll discuss different nature of the contemporary issues, like we discuss about issue about security, different viruses, traveling, immigration policies and things as well. And we discuss the linkage between private partnership during our lesson 1. Today we'll go through our LO2. LO2 is our learning outcome 2, which will be addressed. So today lesson, our LO2, be able to critically evaluate implementation. So now we're looking implementation, how we can implement the tourism policy. Implementation is, of course, maybe you make a good plan, but it's very difficult to implement it. Your plan is fine, but you don't know the ground reality. So that's why implementation is a very, very crucial thing. Planning, you have a lot of ideas, you make a plan. With respect of smoker, every year they make a plan what they will do next year. They will quit the smoke, but after, to implement is very difficult. So that's, today lesson will go through assessment criteria 2.1, appraise a range of tourism policy instrument, critically analyze issues involved in the developing policies, and critically evaluate implementation policies, how we can implement, So first, any question? Peter, any questions? Okay, so today our focus will be, of course, we discuss policy, but we'll try to be implementation side. Definition of tourism policy is defined as a public policy, means it is formulated by public sector and which consists of central government, local authorities together with the nationalized industries and the private corporation. So then we can make it our. So key things, first of all, when you implement the policy, you need to be look around the stakeholders. What is meant by stakeholders?
People that have vested interest in the in a business. Usually, it's in a company. I'm guessing it would be the same way for a policy, maybe.
Brilliant. That's absolutely the same way. The concept is the same. So stakeholders' interest. Yes.
Yeah.
So stakeholders can be implies.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Shareholder.
Yep.
Tax office. Local government. Customer. Customers, suppliers. Yes, there can be a number of lists. So stakeholders. So when we implement our policy, at the planning as well, we need to look around the stakeholder interests, but we need to be involve them. Yes. So that we can effectively. So if you think, that's why it's called private, public partnership.
Right.
So PP, it's a triple P, yes. Private public partnership is very important to implement the policies effectively in the organizations. So we need to make sure we have a policies in place. Stakeholders, we discuss politics can play a significant role, yes.
Yeah.
Different party's manifesto. Yes, that can be a huge implementation in terms of what their manifesto.
Yes.
Of course, public authority policies, different authorities, different policy towards tourism policy.
Mm-hmm.
Public policy toward tourism and others, and tourism destination. In the UK, around last 5 to 10 years, 40%, 50% pubs, clubs are closed.
Right.
So lot of discussion why these are closed. Of course, there are the number of factors. It can be economic factor. It can be social factor, like a society due to this some issues, these are security issues, and other. Some people said there is a big problem with because the police workforce being cut off, their budget being reduced due to the slow economic activity, and the
Right.
government actually crime rate increase. Ultimately, what will be happen? Your tourism or hospitality activities will be decreased as well. Yeah, because people not feel safe.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So, and other the immigration policy towards, and thus all these factors leads to and slow economic growth and all. So we
Mm-hmm.
need to look around, how we can improve it. Public policies, tourism and others. What are the public policies as a government and tourism destination? So you need to make implementation tourism destination. Then public policy need to be implement. Public authority need to be involved. Those try to make sure implement those policies. Political parties should be on the same line, and the stakeholders should be involved. Any question?
Right. No.
Okay, next we can look around the objective of policies. Any policies will see tourism affect many areas: economic, social, cultural, and environmental. So what government policies are towards those? If the government policy is very strict towards the environment, maybe lot of yes. If the
Mm-hmm.
economics policy is not appropriate, so one we call the. Do we know what is the difference between monetary policy and fiscal policy?
Uh, no, not exactly.
Okay. So monetary policy is a policy of the central bank. In other countries, it's called state bank.
Mm-hmm.
Like a increase or decrease base rate. Do we know what is the base rate?
The base rate is the central bank rate that they give to banks.
Brilliant. So basic interest rate, huh? Which
Yeah.
whole economy. So we have 7.5,
Mm-hmm.
and now it likely will be reduced to 0.5 due to the
Right.
slow economic growth. Because if the base rate will be lower, the interest rate bank charge from the businesses will be lower. Ultimately, then will be more people will borrow money instead of deposit money in their accounts.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, economic policies will be boost.
Yeah.
So that's one of. Second is the fiscal policy. What is the fiscal policy? Is the policy of the government towards spending and cutting.
Right.
So
Yes.
sometimes they have a deficit in their budget. They want to be cut. Like in the UK, the especially Conservative Party have their manifesto to be make budget, reduce the budget deficit by cutting the government spending.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so when will the public spending will be cut? Ultimately, it will be slow economic activity, and really we can't really properly implement whatever the policies have in place.
Right.
So this is the principal reason the government involved in the tourism and development. Various economic reasons may reduce the public sector, foster tourism development. That can be. Okay, then we can look around the social consideration and the other important reason government participate in the tourism development in order to maximize social cultural benefit, such as cultural exchange. Like in the UK used to be called program is called something youth exchange, huh?
Yeah.
Program like with Japan, with China, skill exchange,
Right.
summer holidays exchange between school. Ultimately, this will help, huh?
Yes, it will.
So that's we can look around. That will help this if we can implement. Another reason is need to be controlling the environmental impact. Environmental impact. So lot of legislation about government towards environmental protection. So it can be impact overall hotel and tourism industry because their margins can be dropped.
Hmm.
Yes. So it's a continuous process instead of, you just quickly implement it. Maybe the industry won't be accept. Then
Yeah.
how are the objective of the tourism policy achieved? By planning, if we have a planning, clear planning in place. Legislation, if we develop those legislation, uh, like grooming and various other social issues in the UK. That was, and then the hotel introduced, they want to be checked the IDs, those are living in the hotels, and some background checks, and all these sort of the problem may be impact. Sometimes you're going with your friend and somebody asks me, show your relationship with each other. Yes. So that can be impact as well. So different sort of legislation. Facilitation of tourism development, how government tourism tax, like on the airline tax, yes, like
Right. Yeah.
baggage handling tax, like, these
Hmm.
sort of. Those can be impacted. Maybe we can't really properly. Education and training, because in the past was a lot of education and training free program for tourism industry. Now government start in the UK is called apprenticeship.
Hmm.
Apprenticeship program is about whatever the tax you're paying, 10%, because if your tax is at 20%, 10% of your tax money which you pay towards government, you can get claim back towards staff development. Yes. So
Yeah.
you can develop, and that development is a training. You're taking people, those have a GCSE A levels, and then you're providing them degree level apprenticeship
Yep.
or no level. So that's the education and training towards the government fund to boost the economic activity again.
Hmm.
Marketing, of course, marketing. Government introduce free. It's a help to set up the website. Help to set up website. Huh?
Hmm.
Government funding towards funding about export. Yes, your export the knowledge, your education. So all these can be leads to the boost the economic activities. So that's we need to look around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any question?
And,
So then after this we can look around the planning. We know already fulfilling the tourism policy,
mhm.
minimizing its negative impact, and we're looking more wide. And the primary goal of planning is to participate in part in tourism development, because two characteristic of tourism industry, we always looking the first tourism industry is a complex industry, so we need to make sure we involve the wide stakeholders. Yeah?
Mhm.
uh, then next is the legislations. We discuss different legislations. Yes,
Yes.
legislation is stipulating not create a hurdle for the developing new no European Union GDPR. Do we know the GDPR?
Uh, it's a general data protection regulation.
Brilliant. That's all about general data protection regulation. So that's increase the trust of your users. Huh? So
Hmm.
different
Yep.
legislation being passed, and all these is a main purpose to boost the economic activity. Facilitation of tourism development, where the national and regional authorities are offer policies to supporting the tourism as an income. Yes, from
Yep.
like a local government, it can be local council can arrange a lot of events. Huh?
Yes.
That's huge, impact on the travel and tourism industry. Government can be facilitate providing necessary infrastructure, like the free bus service in the city, yes, for
Mm-hmm.
the tourist. Free information desk, those sort of, yes, local government
Yes.
website, that can be. So, sorry, why
Yep.
my this move around? Okay. Then of course is the taxation policy can be also look around. So like in especially in America was 30% corporation tax.
Mm-hmm.
CT, no, it's been reduced to around 18%. Yes. So
Yep.
that's the big reduction. So that will be boost the economic activity and it help to be implement. Then other we can look around policies toward the trend in the taxation and the result of largely. Sometimes is a problem because you have interaction with the various government and exchanging information. Of course, new legislation again in the world, So that we can look around, appropriate to the education.
Right. Yep.
Next, we're looking the marketing. Marketing can
Mm-hmm.
play a, sorry, I don't know why my slides move around. Okay, so then marketing can play a big role. So
Yes.
we can look around marketing. And next we'll look some planning approaches. If we look, the tourism planning is derived from the comprehensive coordinate, yes,
Yep.
continuous process. It never need to be stopped. When you implement, you plan something, maybe you can't because the factors of change. So we can do normally it's called pest analysis, the pestal forces. We do internal environmental analysis, internal environment, which we call micro,
Yep.
and external environment, which we call macro. So we'll carry on reviewing because otherwise we can't implement it. Yes, if change the factors, we should be change our planning.
Right.
So tourism has defined the process-based research and evaluation, optimum and potential contribution of human welfare. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
quality. Yes, we need to be. We need to look around human welfare indeed to be considered in the planning, yes, and the
Mm-hmm.
development. So all this we need to be focused to be achieved.
Yes.
Then we discuss, the because our subject itself is tourism policy and planning. So when tourism is an important factor in economy, like UK economy is around 60% is the service sector. More than 60 is government income is coming from the service sector.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you need to be look around. You need to promote that service sector. Yes.
Mm.
So that's why the UK is known as best in customer services because more human interaction and learning and different languages and different exchange programs that help them to be understand the culture things and then link with it. Tourism is a complex linkage with other sector of economy. Then sometimes it can be very difficult to link, but you need to be make sure to implement it. You have to do link. You
Mm-hmm.
have to make
Yep.
and coordinate. Other thing, you try to be standardize things as well. Some standardization evaluation approaches and method has occurred. Standardize, the price may be standardized. If there's a too much variation in the price, like a 5 star, 7 star, it can be from this brand to this brand. Yes, the price. So at least the trust of the clients will increase. Then next we look at the tourism policies and benefit. If we have a policy, it can create a benefit. Difference evaluating economics impact. We discuss, yes, economics tourism understand the consistently countries the cultural prospect. Limited road of evaluation this topic. We can look around predominantly local consideration. That's so that's why in business we call
Mm-hmm.
think globally, and act locally. Yeah?
Right.
So always when you make the policies, you need to be the committee. Lot of research happen in these all countries, all about how can be benefit. Yes. So Office of Economics Cooperation Development, that committee, they recognize and they conduct, how we can evaluate how each country can be benefited by sharing
Right.
best practices. So
Yep.
that's, ultimately help in the implementation. Then we can look around, evaluate, why, five key reasons in to help policymaker better assess the impact of their tourism policies and program against the objective, to learn from the past success and the failures, and to inform the decision maker. So if we have information past policies and what was the success rate, that will help. So
Yeah.
past data, the information help to be make the future decisions.
Yeah.
Then this allow to better the cross government understanding. Yes.
Hmm.
And efficiencies, a whole government approach toward the tourism at national, regional, and local levels.
Yeah. Right.
It's developed to evidence to return on investment.
Yeah.
Return on investment, cost effective. A lot of people say in hospitality industry, return is a 400%. Yes, in a
Right.
food, travel, and tourism. But
Hmm.
depends how effectively you plan it, implement it. Not everyone, but
Yeah.
is the competition huge as well? Yes, and stimulate debate among the tourism stakeholders, entrepreneurial and cross industries as well. We need to be learned. That will help to be improved. Yes, all this we
Right.
need to make sure we have in place. Any question?
No, I understand.
Okay, then we can look around the barriers. Why? What are the barriers? Those we can try to be identify and we try to be remove or address them. If the tourism is to be truly beneficial to all the concerned and the sustainable in the long run, ensure
Hmm.
the resources are not overconsumed. Yes, natural
Yeah.
and human environment are protected. Tourism is integrated with other activity like the manufacturing, textile, and all. You need to make sure where they're coming so you can create and manufacturing things accordingly.
Right.
Include the tourism policies implementation, and these cultural and people are respected. The World Tourism explain and define the sustainable tourism is which leads to the management of all resources such way. So normally we say three M's resources, yes.
Hmm.
Three M's mean manpower, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
We use money, monetary resources,
Hmm.
and we use material, yes, and all other assets.
Right.
Is
Yeah.
under so we use effectively. That will help. Maintain cultural integrity, essential ecological processes, biological diversity, and life support systems. All we need to be make sure we'll go through.
Right.
Then there are the framework which we can follow. Stage one, you design, study, yes,
Hmm.
determine the goals, do the survey of core indicators. Those will help you to implement it. Yes,
Hmm.
if it's an indicator like any your budget, any plan you make. So first thing is economics growth, or we call sales forecast. You want to be budget your labor, yes, budget
Hmm.
your material, stock planning. Yeah. So if
Yeah.
your sales in increasing your capacity, you're going to use 100% peak season. So all of the planning will be based on it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's quite crucial to be sustainable. So you have all this. And then stage four, analyze, it synthesize, action planning, and implement.
Hmm.
Implementation and plan is implement in using different techniques. Policies are guidance to implement plan. Yes, about effective communication. That's
Yeah.
really need to among the stakeholders. Risk of failure lower than the recommendation to address. Environmental policies will need to be establish the government integrations. Yes, debatable, looking actual situations. Important, monitor the progress. Yes, your reporting system within our organization. meeting goals and objective regular basis. Plan generally need to be adjust over time, not forever. Yeah, you have a 5-year plan, but you have a yearly plan. You have a 6 monthly, you have a 3 monthly, you have a monthly, then
Right.
you have a
Yeah.
weekly as well. Yeah, so that will help you to achieve your policies and objective of what you
Okay.
really want. Uh, some we discussed a few issues already, but this is in the different in the years. Policy standard objective that can be an issue. Availability of the valid technical theories and technology. We can different people look in different technical incompetencies, bureaucratic yes,
Yeah.
organizations and the different approaches. So that can we can look around like economic, social, and political condition, incorporation of adequate casual theories, yes, great emphasis and how the people are the cities planning in education, yes, how we can
Yeah.
link the tourism industry to schools, colleges, and policies, yes, how we
Mm-hmm.
can link to the food and the discount, how we can link with the travel industries, like, if international students are supposed come up, so where will
Right. Yeah.
be a union role as well. So this all, what I did, I copied some, it's good videos to watch. So
Okay.
maybe I can little bit, we can copy this link and we can little bit just quick see how it's work. Huh?
All right.
So maybe you hope so you will listen.
Tourism doesn't just impact resorts and theme parks. It also impacts the surrounding area as
And
well
so,
as the neighboring region as a whole. Tourists, when visiting an area, will not only visit just the theme park or resort, but the tourism industry
so
and stakeholders
tourism, yes.
to help write policies benefiting
So
both
policies, we need all these areas.
challenges and growth opportunities.
Preparing issues,
Topics
yes.
discussed in this
Debate,
review. Phase 6.
different, yes.
Designing an action plan.
Put policies into actions. Huh? So
Yeah.
that's I copied.
Okay.
So
That's cool.
so maybe you can little bit, as much you
Yeah.
can. So that will help us. And we discuss issue into tourism, maintain destination sustainable, plan to safety and securities planning, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Response increase in the long-term impact on the travel and tourism industry you plan and implement, resolve any barrier they have, like visas, passport, airline fees, delays,
Yeah.
accepting foreign credit card, debit cards and things. Educate users how they can understand the transformative effect in geo, and what effect will be if you don't keep your client happy, they can move around in different countries in different parts. Effect on the travel and tourism, seeking quality experience and positive balance. We need to
Right.
be ultimately they will be repeat. Then sustainability and corporate social responsibility we need to keep in mind, not in the accounting profession as well. So without compromising the future needs, we not pollute. Three things CSR is all about. We need to care about planet, we need to care about profit, and we need to care about people.
Right. Yeah.
So economics, we can sporting organization, profit, client, local businesses, and paying. Social, we can look around communities, regions, and the business operate we are in. Environmental, using less electricity, create less pollution.
Yes.
Sport. So this is all about, we need to be look around.
Yeah.
Any question?
No. No.
So that's all was today in policies and impacts and how we can make sure, our policies are effective.
Okay.
So today lesson we discuss about implementation side and what things we need to be look around, how we can coordinate and implement and readjust. So
Okay.
that's all today lesson, and lesson 3 will go through our LO3, and I hope so I will speak you in next lesson and then we'll go through. So what I'll
Okay.
do, before I'll ask, Roman to be lesson need to be in line. So I know one server where I am delivering and things, so is the timing and things are more clear. Sorry
Okay.
about it.
That's
So
all
we'll
right.
go to the next lesson and have a nice weekend now. If any
Okay.
questions. If any question, please drop me email.
I'll drop you an email, sure. Okay, well, thank you. You have a good week. We'll speak next weekend.
Okay, same to you, Peter. And thanks for listening. Those are listening, and hope so all will speak you. And if you need to drop me email, please drop me email anjum@ukversity.co.uk, and have a nice time. Thank you.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.